Georgia and Caleb from Broods join me now here on the Green Room podcast. Hello, you two, and thank you for joining me today.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's very exciting. Here we are in 2022, a year slightly looking brighter and brighter with each passing day, but an especially bright start in the 2022 universe is the brand new Broods album, Space Island, that is finally dropping. Tell me, first and foremost, how does it feel to be on the brink of this beautiful new release?
It feels so much. It's really exciting. It's really like...
I keep on forgetting that no one else has heard it yet.
Yeah, we've been sitting on it for so long that like forget that it's not out yet, but maybe that's a survival technique because it's so exciting and so scary, and so like I think we're just really ready for it to be in everybody's ears.
Yes, and I think the feeling's very mutual. I think there's a lot of excitement out there, but understandably a lot has happened over the past few years, like even including your own creative and personal journeys. Still kind of looking at how you're feeling right now, and I promise we'll move on, but how does it feel overall compared to when you were dropping Don't Feed the Pop Monster a couple of years back? I mean, I know the pandemic makes it weird, but like, is there a significant difference with how you're feeling? Like, are you more excited given there's been such a lead in, or is it feeling like same, like you're a well-oiled machine now, it doesn't faze you?
I feel like it's been like, I feel like we're getting there now, but I feel like coming back into it has been like difficult because, you know, we've had such a 2 years of a lot of nothing really. So
yeah.
I mean, apart from working on this record, so
yeah, we've really been living in this world of Space Island.
Yeah,
which has been really nice, and I think that has been like quite a different thing. You know, like this album is the first time we've really like taken the reins as much as we have, and the most time we've had like just to sit and think about it and like build it, and it's been really like intimate because we've been working with pretty much all friends, and like we did all the visuals with like our friend Sam, and like we've had like a really close like collaborative group, and
a lot less people working on this album in the past,
which is cool because it like means that every step of the way has been like really personal and really special, and it's also been like a lot of work and really, really invested in it to the point where like it's kind of brutal when you're that attached to something and then you go and share it with whoever
the world.
I hope it's as good as we think.
But so excited, just real pumped to get it out there.
Well, I feel like given what we've heard in the lead up, I think it's safe to say it's more than pretty good, and I think it's going to be very well received. But we have had a bit of a glimpse to come, obviously, collectively. We've had Heartbreak, Piece of My Mind, but all out there's 10 stunning tracks lying in wait. I know, Georgia, I've read you previously described Piece of Mind as the opening... Piece of My Mind, I should say, is the opening fanfare for the album, and it's such a beautiful dichotomy given the slightly brooding subject matter underlying it, pun kind of intended but not. But in terms of the overall album, like Space Island just feels like this total adventure and a portal to this like fantastical world. And I know it kind of kickstarted, I believe, Georgia, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of getting back into songwriting after some significant personal events. But when did the seed for Space Island really get planted? Like, when did you guys realise you were actually on the way to kickstarting the adventure for album number 4?
Space Island, like the name and the idea of Space Island was born out of a session that we did with a friend of ours who's also a Kiwi. He's a producer living in LA, Leroy Clampett, and it's the final track on the album, If You Fall in Love, and we were just like playing with lasers and slide guitars, and we were like, nah, it's so Space Island. And then we were like, whoa, Space Island, that's cool.
And then it just started to like, you know, snowball and have all these other meanings.
Yeah.
You know.
And then we just like kept like, well, that came, you know, when we were doing sessions before the pandemic, and then when that whole global event happened, we had all this time just like held up in our apartment listening to these like just amazing like big band records and orchestral music and like experimental jazz and like watching like a bunch of sci-fi movies and just kind of really like diving into this what we could build out of this idea of Space Island and like letting it kind of evolve into what it is now that we're like giving it to everybody. And it's been the most fun and the most like cathartic experience of all time for me anyway, but so fun.
Yeah, and I guess the cathartic thing, I mean, I don't want to dwell in bad things, but like what you guys really have always managed to do and you just continue to evolve and grow into is you've got like all these amazing like percolating rhythmics and sci-fi tinge melodics, but you've got some really personal storytelling underneath. Like, did you come out of the writing and creating process feeling a bit lighter emotionally as a result? Like, do you feel like a little bit like it's kind of got it off your chest and now people can kind of take what they will from it?
I think like
maybe not lighter but stronger.
Yeah.
Better way.
Lighter, stronger from carrying it. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
No, but it is like it's always the whole point of writing is always to like transmute these like harder experiences and like make them feel like they've got their own space to live in that I don't necessarily have to like carry around. But then sharing it and the concept of sharing like this album has been pretty scary, like but at the same time, like I think when it comes to my favorite pieces of art, they are always really personal and they're always really, really like brutally honest. And I think, you know, when in art that are scary, it's almost like a little hint that you're on the right track. And I think we've just been really lucky to have so much encouragement from the people around us so that we haven't really had any time to second guess whether we should be bearing all. But yeah, it's definitely bittersweet.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing too how everyone's own personal experiences can translate and, you know, someone else will completely adapt that to their own experiences. Yeah. So it's like bearing everything, but it's also giving everyone a collective meeting point because we're all, you know, battling all the fun things in life along the way. So yeah, thank you for the outpouring.
Oh, that's such a nice way of putting it though. I really like that, as thinking about it as like this place for us all to meet with like similar experiences or similar feelings, because that's like definitely what we went into making the album wanting to do. It's like creating like a safe haven.
If anyone can gain some tools,
yeah,
like, then we've done our job.
Or just feel like comforted. Like I just
feel heard. Or
yeah, I think that was our whole goal with it, and so to be able to share it now is like the last step of this big thing that we've been building up to, and it's really nice.
Yes, well, mission definitely accomplished. Like, not just me saying that, but I'll just say it because I've got you collectively in front of me, so that's good. But outside of all of that amazing, you know, journey that led to Space Island 2, I believe, Caleb, that you had an organ that was bought for the album specifically that added a lot to the proceedings. Is this a...
Yeah. Well, I'm always spending pretty much all my money on gear. And not much on anything else, really. But,
that's the best way to be, frankly.
Yeah, it was an organ that found me, I think.
Called out and said, will you be my
I turned up at my like favourite vintage shop and it was like not even on the floor yet. I was like, what is that thing? Plug it in. And it was in the car before, you know, no time at all. But yeah, it definitely has a specific sound and sounds like a 60s Maserati kind of taking off and in a beautiful dusty way, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, it definitely added a lot to songs like a Woman and Distance and Drugs, and really brings like a hectic energy to some moments that we needed some hectic energy.
Yeah.
It's high energy organ, and And it's also just beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It's just
Like,
beautiful green.
It's also my favourite piece of furniture.
Stunning. I feel like this is, how amazing that it did help with the album, but it's also become a very pinnacle part of your life, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
I've ever bought, yeah.
Nice. I'm very keen. Like, I once had a Wurlitzer with like a few broken keys on it, but I literally, sadly, do not have that with me anymore. But yeah, I can live vicariously through you because I'm very much on the organ train. It's just something about them. But you guys have obviously never been ones to sonically stagnate, and with each passing release, it's been really exciting to see you guys just, really come into your own and take control over who Broods really are as a group and, as people individually within that group. And what I love too is seeing the aesthetics. Like, I know you guys touched on the old vintage movies and that, like, obviously with Peace of Mind, that music video, peak cinematic gold, like so much vintage film goodness. And of course you shot it in New Zealand, but can you take me a bit behind the scenes of that? Because I am obsessed with it and I want to see a full length Broods retro sci-fi movie like in the near future, please. But can you take us behind the scenes of the video?
That was like the most fun
we've ever
experience.
Had shooting anything.
Yeah, it was really, really special. Partly because it was like a really small crew. It was just basically
it was us three.
Me, Caleb, and Sam Kosowski.
I was the camera assistant.
Yeah.
I was
very important.
On the mirrors and on the reflectors and things like that, carrying everything.
Yeah. We just basically like did a 2-week road trip around the South Island and went to like all these beautiful places that we ourselves had never been.
Yeah.
And just like went around pointing me like, whoa, cool, so Space Island. And
stop the car.
Yeah, and just like, and it was such an amazing opportunity to kind of like live in Space Island again in a different way and like kind of see like what, because I read somewhere that like when dealing with grief, look to the cycles of nature. And like, so bringing this insane nature that New Zealand holds into the visuals, just like perfect. And it was just so much fun. And like, it turned out like so much.
There's no way
like,
we could have done it.
Than we could have ever imagined.
And there's no way we could have done it without. There's only one person that could have done it with us, and that's Sam.
Sam Kosowski, man. He did the Peach video as well, and that was the first time we ever like did a video together, and we were like, that was incredible. And like ever since then, we've just been like, please do everything with us.
Yeah, that dream team much. It was so much fun, and I kind of wanted to go on a binge of all these old movies after that. So thank you. You helped me pick what I wanted to watch, which is normally my least favourite part of my day. So thank you for that as well.
Too many options, man. Too many options.
Well, looking at the album overall, I mean, there's a heap of surprises still in store that will come to fruition when it's finally released. But tell me, if I had to make you pinpoint, this is always a tricky question, I know, but is there a key song on the album that you're maybe most excited to play live for fans once it's released, or just a song that's carried through with you through this whole journey to now that just holds a really special place in your heart? Is there one particular one for each of you that you could narrow down?
I just love playing Like a Woman, even though like the music doesn't really even like come in till like halfway through. It's just like just waiting for it, and just the feeling of executing that song is really satisfying because our cousin playing drums is just so good.
Yeah,
it's in the record.
I think for me, I'm just really excited for people to listen to the album in full, because I think like we're such album people. Like I think like the just no shuffling. Shuffle can just go away, because this like hopefully like when you listen to an album, you feel like you're taking.
It doesn't work with shuffle.
No, it doesn't work with shuffle.
Well, it's an island. It's not a singular, isle.
Exactly, and it's just like so beautiful to go with an artist through like a little adventure, and I think this album, we put like a lot of time and effort into just like the track list, and that was kind of how we built it around like this, what kind of experience we wanted to give people, and where we wanted to leave people at the end of listening to it. And like,
and our live show is kind of like that as well. It's like it finishes where it starts. It's like walking around a little island, and you go past all the different past all the different landmarks, and then you end up back at the same spot where you like came in.
Yeah, and you go back through the portal back to real life.
Well, yeah, but better for it, I think. Oh, we come out with something extra. And I think it's funny, I've noticed a lot of people these days, the more I speak to, people are starting to return to the full album listening, because obviously we're streaming and everything. It's like, you're just like singles, playlists, like you don't really... You have the option to, but it's rare people do it. But it's really exciting. I mean, Spotify obviously removing the shuffle button has been a big thing. But even without that, I've just been hearing people say it more and more, myself included. I've forced myself to listen to it, because it is curated and it's so much goes into it. It's not just haphazardly hurling songs here and there. I mean, some people might, and it might work, but yeah. And you really, you experience that with this. So that's what really grabbed me. Although this sounds like I'm just saying I always make myself answer that question. I had Like a Woman as mine, but, I love the whole album, but I always make myself pick, and I've got proof. I'm not just saying it because Caleb said it, but it's...
That is a special song, and I think as soon as...
I think it took us the longest to get right as well. That's why I'm so satisfied that it's out and we get to play it now, because we just worked on it for like 2 years.
Yeah, and it was like as soon as like that song like appeared, because when
there's always one song that kind of gets finished and then you're like, now we know where we're going.
Yeah, and this one was just like kind of just came out of me real fast, and I just like remember being like, this is a good song. I'm like, this is good job, Georgia.
We were writing like for another artist at the time in our studio, and they were doing like vocal takes in the booth, and Georgia was just out riding on the roads, and then she came in and played like a woman on her phone, and I was just like, just couldn't even think about the session that often. I was just like, I just want to work on that song now.
It's totally understandable, and I think it was a moment for me. Like, it just encapsulated so much, and there's just so much fluxes in there for me. So yeah, but not to disparage, it obviously sits within a really incredible surrounding island. So yeah, but there we go. I've answered that one too. So now it's fair. But, something you guys touched on, I know you kind of mentioned this full circle thing. Like, has the pandemic given you time to reevaluate what you want to do in your live shows? Because I know some people I've spoken to, it's made them more ambitious. It's made them more minimalistic. Like, is there anything that's really changed drastically for you guys?
Oh, I think we went to like some really good shows, and that definitely like just was so inspiring. And then I think also just like really, we've been touring for a long time now, and like I think we wanted to really use this opportunity of like having time to really build out like something really beautiful that people can...
We had a lot of time in the apartment.
Yeah.
To finish it all off, because that was like when we started finishing it off, it was 2020. And then
but it has definitely like made us like see the beauty and like bringing it down. And I think like we've been to shows where that's been done so well that like it's inspired us to go out and like seek some of that in our own live show. And so that's quite exciting. And I think like, especially when playing in like smaller venues, and like it just, there's nothing that really beats that kind of real, just no like wall between you and the audience, and like really having an opportunity to feel like you're going through something all together. And like that's what live music is all about. It's like it's such a uniter, and like I think that's going to be real exciting to experience again.
Yeah, it's been such a long time, and I think that's what I realised. It was like, obviously the music is such a very integral part of it, but it's also having that barrier gone and being around like-minded people and having people expressing themselves, and it all is just this beautiful merging of so many things.
It
And
makes me want to cry. Like I'm just like I'm just so excited, and I'm also just so excited to see people that we like come across like again and again, because they just like show up for us every time, and like I'm so excited to see those people and meet more people, and like it's just I'm ready.
yeah. Oh, it's going to be such a celebration. And I know, hoping all things stay as they are, you guys have some special shows locked away here in Australia in March as well. Like, we are so excited. But it's not your first time here, but do you have any like particular Aussie live show memories? Like, has anything particular stood out? Like, are we well behaved? Are we good fans?
Aussies shows have always been pretty crazy there.
Yeah, I think Australia are some of our best fans. Well, they are our best fans in the world, to be honest. We get so much support there, and
the music industry is just so like diverse, like with just like the type of music that can thrive in Australia is like, compared to New Zealand anyway, like New Zealand's very small.
very small.
You know, it's just really it's just such a supportive place for like bands, and playing festivals is so fun there. Like it's just like, I think Aussies just really know how to go to a show.
They really know how to push the boat out.
Oh yeah,
They're
very well put.
And just chuck the oars overboard. You know?
Yeah. Like, and you've only like gone 1 millimeter away from the shore. The oars are out. They're gone.
They're like, who needs it?
I don't need to get back in. See ya.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we're going to Space Island. We don't need to go back. So
it's a portal. You don't need an oar.
That's right. Well, on the topic of that too, like, you guys have played countless shows. I will not sit here and list them. I always say to people, like, we'll be here for too long and I'll get kicked off the Zoom call. So if I had to make you choose one again, like, what is one story that will definitely be getting a mention in the Broods memoirs when the time comes, whether it's a crazy like tour bus story or something went horribly right or horribly wrong or horribly hilarious? Is there a particular moment in the Broods back journey?
For me personally, like the one that like, honestly, this memory keeps me going when it's hard. Like when we first started touring, we played a show in Brisbane, and like we were signing some merch afterwards, and it was like a time when we were like really busy, and we just like kind of weren't really sure how like to keep it sustainable, and like we were like quite overwhelmed, and
very tired.
This person just walks up to the merch table, and it's like a pretty big, like tall dude, really manly looking. He just like, he reaches, like he like kind of like bends down and just goes, I don't want anything, like I just want to tell you that your music saved my life. And I was just like, and cry. And like that has just been the whole point the whole time.
We just gave him a brood sandwich.
Yeah, we were just like, I think maybe we needed to hear that. Like more than anything, like we just needed to know that like there was somebody on the end of the phone, and like that's the beautiful thing about like doing shows is like you get to see those people that are like on the other end, and like remember that you're not just screaming into a void.
On the end of ours, like we were on the end of other artists' like, songs, just going,
and just like this, and it's, you know, it's just this big web of everybody like leaning on each other and like learning from each other, and like at the center of it is just like massive love. And I think that is the biggest thing that we get to take away from like a good show, is just feeling like so much love for them and from them.
And from like strangers. If you're at a good show, there's like massive love just like
between
buzzing
people
around.
In the audience,
and that's when you know that you're at a really good one.
Yeah. Yes. When everybody's just like looking over at each other like, this is really great.
I don't know you, but I'm looking at you like I agree with you.
Yeah, like it's that unspoken like, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I tried not to like gasp audibly when you said that, because that just got me a little bit. That's just, a beautiful thing. And it kind of, now I don't need to ask my next question about like what keeps you motivated and inspired to keep going with Broods, because I feel like that pretty perfectly sums it up. Like,
I think like and the like more immediate community that we've found through being in the music industry has just like fed our souls so much, and just like not only just kept us surviving, but kept us like really thriving and really excited to like keep creating.
We owe a lot to like the people that work alongside us, because they keep us incredibly sane. Like our crew that tour with us are extremely important to our mental health and our well-being. Yeah, and just like, you know, I think sometimes, like especially in historically, like the music industry is a pretty toxic place to be in time, and sometimes, but having like a lot of kindness for other people and like changing that, but just by the way that you move through it, you like attract all these people that like just see everything the same way, and then you get to share the stories of how you've been like a little bit hurt, and then you're like, oh, it's okay, me too. And like it's just a big support group. And like Musicians Anonymous.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's like so beautiful, and like at the end of the day, we're always going to be making music. That's just how we function in our daily lives. But the thing that keeps us sharing it is like we said, the other people on the other end of the phone, man. You got to have them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's incredibly great news for all of us that it's something that feeds you, because it does that so much, and so like obviously that guy told you, but so much more. It would ricochet so much further than you'd ever realize. So I feel like this next adventure is only the start of some incredible things. I cannot thank you enough for joining me, and all the best for the release of Space Island. I cannot wait to revisit it and go back to the island with no oars. But he's also having you back in Australia for some shows and an incredible 2022 guides. What a way to start the year.
I know. Hopefully it's, you know, just...
Hopefully we just hit a couple of speed bumps and that's it, you know?
Yeah, you know, silver linings wherever you go though, you know.
That's it. I feel like whatever comes, you guys you're more than equipped to get past it. And yeah.
Yeah, now we are.
That's right. And we've got Musicians Anonymous, so we're all good. We're fine.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was so fun.
Thank you, Tiana.
Tiana Speter is a euphony podcast, created by Craig Treweek, produced by Tiana Speter and Andrew Mast, hosted by Tiana Speter, recorded, edited, and engineered by Zig Parker. Music by Zig Parker.